Hi everybody, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for visiting with me today. So I did just a minute ago make my video about mental health and taking care of your mental health and all that. And now this video, we're gonna discuss Gypsy Rose some more. So I was asked by a lovely viewer to react to the Gypsy Rose's Dr. Phil interview, and I am going to do that. I'm burpy, I'm sorry, but I am going to do that. I probably won't be able to do it the way I traditionally react to videos and interviews, where I show you a clip and then I give you my take on that clip and then show you another clip and continue on with that take. But right now, what I want to do is I want to kind of read something, and it's going to be, hold on, I think it's going to be pretty long. Nah, it's not that bad. It looks like it only covers the first 15 minutes of the Gypsy Rose interview that Dr. Phil did. But this is, it's weird. I just came across it and I thought, well, we can read this and discuss it a little bit, but I am going to get more in depth to the actual video, because it says right here that this is an AI generated summary and there may be inaccuracies. And because of that, you know, we're just gonna, if I catch those inaccuracies, if I recognize them, I'll point them out. But I am going to react to the Dr. Phil interview with her. I was having a hard time finding just a video that compiles it all into one, and I did finally find one that I'm going to use. And again, I may not be able to do that the traditional way I react, where I show a clip and then react, because Dr. Phil is kind of extra with people using his stuff. So he's not my best friend. But anyway, so I'm just going to read it and we'll talk about it a little bit. So Gypsy Rose Blanchard interview with Dr. Phil. I wonder if she's related to Tully Blanchard. Remember the wrestler Tully Blanchard? I think he's still alive, but he was a wrestler in the 80s. So anyway, in this YouTube video, this comes from a YouTube video titled Gypsy Rose Blanchard Interview with Dr. Phil. Gypsy Rose Blanchard opens up about the ABUSE and manipulation she suffered at the hands of her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard, and the events leading up to her mother's unaliving. Now, pause that. I know we all have our opinions on what we think really happened. Like, a lot of people don't believe she was ABUSED at all. Personally, I believe she was when she was very young, like very young. But when she got older and was in on it, I think she was in on the con and totally willingly participating in it because she liked the benefits it was affording her. I got some black on the tip of my nose. Sorry, guys. Okay, back to this. Gypsy reveals the extent of her mother's lies and reveals how she was forced to participate in the elaborate deception of her health conditions. Also, I think, again, when she was old enough to know what was going on, I think she was in on the con. I do think she was. Like, it wasn't even about her being forced to participate. I think she willingly participated in the con once she got older. And Dee Dee was sick and weakened. And you have to understand, this is only from Gypsy's point of view. What we know, or what we've been told, is just Gypsy's story from Gypsy's mouth. The other person in that relationship, Dee Dee, isn't here to tell us her side. So, I'm just saying. And, you know, they found the medicine cabinet full of closed, sealed containers of medication and supplies. She thought she was so sick, but she didn't bring any medicine or anything with her when she left to go with Nicholas. She was so sick. She thought she was so sick. And, you know, but she didn't bring any of the medicines with her. I just said that. I'm sorry. And then, also, they didn't really find any shackles or handcuffs or anything other than fuzzy handcuffs. You like the kinky fuzzy handcuffs, to verify that she was chained to the bed or handcuffed to the bed. All right, back to this. She also shares her complicated feelings about her plea deal and her time in prison. And I'll learn more about that as I watch the interview. Gypsy expresses remorse for her actions. She has no remorse. If she had remorse for what she did, she wouldn't be out gallivanting around like she's some, you know, influencer, you know, and discusses her desire to become a better person. Well, to become a better person, you have to actually work towards it. And she's not doing the work towards to being a better person. She's just showing her ass. She's just showing her ass. Everybody's telling me how she's behaving on TikTok. Hello. Oh, hello, friend. Hi, Django. Okay, let's take a break from the Gypsy Rose tale. Come here, Django. Come here, baby. Django, come. Let's say hello to Django. Isn't he beautiful? Oh, Django, I love you. I love you, you little cuddle butt. You little cuddle butt. Okay, you can get down. Oh, they're so cute. They're starting to learn how to figure out how to retract their claws. So cute. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Kitten break. Had to take a kitten break. But anyway, her desire to become a better person. That's very interesting because I've not seen her do anything. And I'm not seeing her every second of her life, but she's showing her life, you know. And what she did to Ryan is no indication that she's trying to be a better person. Oh, he snores. He sleeps hot. If those were deal breakers in a marriage, I would have been single a long damn time ago. Dr. Phil highlights the importance of taking ownership of mistakes and encourages Gypsy to use her story for positive change. Dr. Phil's such a goober. I mean, yeah, you can tell her that till you're blue in the face, but at the end of the day, she's going to do what she needs to do to get attention and to get swag. She wants swag. And the people that support her are victims. And when you come in the comments and you're like, I'm defending Gypsy Rose, you're actually saying what victims would say. So you're showing me you're a victim. And when you say, I'm not a victim, that's something a victim would say. Okay, so we're at 00000. I guess that's an AI thing. The interview this particular one has been taken down off of YouTube. It says, in this section of the interview, Gypsy Rose Blanchard admits that she secretly walked despite her mother forcing her to stay in a wheelchair. I don't believe that. I'm sure she walked all around that house when she wasn't, like, when people weren't watching, you know, and I'm sure her mother was, like, cool with that. When her mother caught her walking, she would physically punish Gypsy and say harmful things to her. And again, this is just from Gypsy's point of view. We don't know the other side of the story. Gypsy also reveals that she had no idea that her mother was using her illness for financial gain. She may have not had any idea while she was young, but when she got older, she knew. She knew. Including receiving donations and free trips. Her mother scammed various charities and lied to them for financial support. Gypsy was also given unnecessary medication and had a feeding tube inserted. Now, we know the feeding tube was inserted, and that's You know, to me, that is ABUSC. And I think a lot of people forget that, or they are like, well, she was willing to get that. Nobody really addresses their opinion of the feeding tube when they're given an opinion to Gypsy Rose. But she did have a feeding tube. And that is concerning. That is upsetting to me. But she benefited from having that feeding tube also, fiscally. And she was suspicious about what her mother had been putting in the feeding tube. Her mother controlled her interactions with doctors, telling her not to speak during appointments and claiming that she was mentally incompetent. Gypsy also shares that she was falsely led to believe that she had microcephaly and wouldn't mature mentally beyond a 6-year-old level. Now, in my senior year of college, I did a paper on microcephaly. Don't remember the details of it, but does she have microcephaly? Like very mild? I don't know. Gypsy Rose definitely isn't mentally incompetent. I think she's stunted because of her experiences, but hi baby. Kitten break. Anyway, I think she's intellectually stunted, but she's not like slow. She can pick up, she'll be fine. So Gypsy says she was falsely led to believe that she had microcephaly and wouldn't mature mentally beyond a 6-year-old level. Additionally, she mentions a muscle biopsy that was performed, but her mother never shared the normal results with her. That particular type of biopsy is extremely painful, just so you know. Gypsy explains that she and her mother had an argument about her feeding tube 2 days before the incident that led to her mother's unaliving. So now we're at I guess this is the 5-minute mark. In this section of the interview, Gypsy Rose Blanchard shares the chilling details of how she orchestrated the unaliving of her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard. Feeling trapped and numb to her mother's continuous medical treatments, Gypsy reached out to her boyfriend, Nick, who then connected her with Victor, the initial planned perpetrator. I'm sorry. She wanted to be out on her own. She knew how to con and scam, and she wanted to do it without Dee Dee gaining benefit from it anymore. She wanted Dee Dee out of her life, because she wanted to become the main manipulator in the situation with someone that she could completely control. And I think she thought she can completely control Nicholas. Of course, when she got to his house and saw his, childlike bed sheets, she was like, oh, I don't know about this life. We're going to have to throw this guy under the bus. Gypsy provided gloves and a knife for the unaliving, and then the time came. Victor entered the house with dark clothing and a threatening shirt. A threatening shirt. Okay, it's AI. So Gypsy barricaded herself in the bathroom, torn between wanting to help her mother and fearing Victor's potential violence towards her. This is where she's just full of it. She planned this. Nicholas wanted to run away with her. He was like, let's just go. And no. There's no Victor. It was Nicholas being manipulated by this hoe, is what it was. Despite hearing her mother scream for help, Gypsy didn't intervene. She also reveals that her mother had painted a negative picture of her father, causing her to believe that he didn't care about her. Gypsy also recounts how her mother controlled her through physical restraints and emotional manipulation, smashing her laptop with a hammer and chaining her to the bed. Throughout the interview, Gypsy questions her mother's love for her as the truth revealed a web of lies and manipulation. Sip break. So, Nicholas didn't want to unalive Dee Dee. He wanted to run with Gypsy. Gypsy insisted on the unaliving. And there were 17 stab wounds. Nicholas admitted to 4. Now, in the interrogation, he said he's only counting the 4 that really went in. So he could have been responsible for other ones, or he could have been covering for Gypsy. So in this section, the next section, Gypsy Rose discusses the extensive list of illnesses her mother, Dee Dee, claimed she had, including hyperventilation, epilepsy, hearing and vision impairment, and muscular dystrophy. Gypsy reveals that her mother had her on pages and pages of medications, many of which had side effects that mimic the diseases she claimed Gypsy had. Gypsy admits feeling angry and hurt when she realized how exploitive her mother was and questions why her mother would do such things to her. Gypsy also opens up about her complicated feelings regarding her plea deal and the time she is serving in prison. She acknowledges her responsibility for her mother's unalivened, but expresses uncertainty about what would be a just punishment. Gypsy explains that while she wanted the mistreatment and oppressive lifestyle to stop, she never actually wanted her mother to die. Okay, she wanted that woman dead. She wanted her dead. She wanted her out of her life completely because she could have ran. She had opportunities. Dee Dee told her to leave. Did she mention that? Not according to this, but we'll get into that when I actually go over the full interview. But if all this stuff was factual, and some of it may be true, it's entirely possible that some of it is true, but if all of it was completely accurate, what she was saying was true, that's devastating. That's terrible. Still, she could have walked away. She could have walked away. She could have ran away. She was 23 years old when the unaliving happened. She knew when she was 16 that she could walk. She had opportunity after opportunity to get away. And you're not going to tell me she didn't. Okay, so we're on to, this is the final section of this. In this section, Gypsy Rose admits to being under the influence of drugs at the time of her mother's unaliving. She expresses regret and states that her mother didn't deserve what happened to her. Gypsy also acknowledges how her mother warped her personality, taught her to be a skilled liar, and expresses her desire to be a better person. I do agree with that. I think that Dee Dee did teach her to be a skilled liar, a skilled manipulator, a skilled con artist. Gypsy's father shares his anger towards his ex-wife and his guilt for not being there for Gypsy. Dr. Phil emphasizes the importance of owning the mistake and finding empowering coping skills to prevent such situations in the future. He condemns Gypsy's actions, but also criticizes the system that failed her. Despite the mistake, Dr. Phil encourages Gypsy to use her story to make a positive impact, which she has not done. She was asked about advocacy work, and she was like, I can't comment on that right now. So I don't think she's trying to be a better person. I think that, if she is really in therapy, I believe she's supposed to be in therapy. If she's really in therapy, good for her, but I hope she's making it work for her. But to make it work for her, she has to truly acknowledge that she did wrong. She has to truly own what she did. And I don't think she is. I think she's just saying what she needs to say to make people squeeze their palms at her and be like, you're such a hero, Gypsy. Yes, Queen Slay. They want to do that, but they don't want to pick apart the details and be like, these are issues of concern. And with what she did to Ryan, though, that right there is just so indicative of what type of manipulator and a manipulative mistreater she is. So she's a murderess. She's an adulteress. She's a liar. She lies every time she makes a video. And then, kitten break. She's climbing all over. Sorry, baby. He's climbing all over the place. But this is just my opinion. I don't think she's taken ownership. I don't think she's taken ownership at all for anything she's done. And we're going to get more into that when we do the Dr. Phil interview in complete, like in its entirety. But I was a supporter of Gypsy Rose. I supported her. I was just like, how dare her mother do that to her? No, I don't think she should have unalived her, but, you know, she felt hopeless. That's how I was. I was thinking she felt hopeless. She felt like there was no other way out. But then looking back, I'm like, there were other ways out, and she knew it. I think that if her mom did any of these things to her, to the extent Gypsy Rose claims they were done, that's horrendous. And I'm sorry that these things happened. But I say it all the time. You aren't what happened to you. You are what you do with that stuff. And most people carry a bad childhood, you know, because we're mistreated as a child, but we think this is normal. When we get older and we realize this isn't normal, we try to overcome that. And I think that it's great that she says she wants to be a better person and she wants to work out these issues and stuff. But in a sense, I mean, I don't think it's ever too late. I think but I think for her, it's too late because she already did. The worst thing you can do to a person is unalive them. And she did that. Like, no, maybe she didn't, or maybe she did take part in the actual event. But she did send that video to Nicholas of her showing where the bed was and the stabbing motion. She did get the knife. She planned it out. She planned this. And Nicholas even tried to talk her out of it. He wasn't like, yeah, let's do this. He was like, let's go. Let's just leave. And she was like, no, it has to be done. You know? And she manipulated him. And he is in prison for life while she is free. For the same crime. Yeah, he did the act. But he wouldn't have done any of it if it wasn't for her. Now, he is responsible for his actions, and personally, I think he's where he needs to be. But he does need serious psychiatric care. But I think that 10 years was her sentence, and she served her 85%. But I think 10 years is a very light sentence for what she did. She orchestrated a murder. And to me, that's just not a forgivable thing. So, yeah. I don't know. I have conflicting feelings tonight because I'm just kind of in a weird headspace. I just want to be forgiven and loving and just, but I don't have it in me. So I'm going to go play with the kittens, and I will talk to everyone later. Bye.